Yeah, what's cracking, everybody? It's your boy Big JD right here. I know many of you is wondering, what's become of me? Where have I gone? Did I abandon my post? Am I out there face down, ass up, smack back on heroin, bumming for change? Or maybe I'm out there twacked out, spig-act, stripping copper, 120 pounds soaking wet on a sick one. Or maybe I'm dying. Maybe I'm dying in the hospital, right? COVID finally killed me. Or something else. I'm in hospice on my last breath. It seems to be getting dark in here and I might be tapping out soon, whatever. Or how about this? The trolls finally won. My tail's tucked between my legs. I'm running in fear from Debriefing Studios and his band of merry weirdos and PC, protective custody, prison gang members. You can't even say it with a straight face ever. No matter how hard I try, I just can't say it with a straight face because it's just so goddamn silly. But that's the alternate reality that we're living in right now. It's like Bizarro Land. The Twilight Zone, the Outer Limits, all that shit wrapped into one. Everything that's going on around us right now. Another one is that I'm in fucking constant terror. I'm in therapy and everything like that because some half-wit from up north of where I'm at is going to come down here and knock at the door. He's just playing me psychologically, toying with my head until the day he shows up and knocks me out. Well, trust and believe, people, that day will never come because he'll never show up. Just like the rest of these lames. They'll talk shit on here. They'll use all their reverse forms of psychology. They'll spin their web of lies and slander. They'll accuse your boy of all kinds of shit. They've called me all kinds of stuff. They've said that I'm in the witness protection program. They said that my people are looking for me. There's a hit out on me. That I'm a fucking chomo and that I'm a rat and I'm all this, that, and the third. But guess what? None of these motherfuckers got any paperwork to any of those claims. They're just making this shit up in their head. Why? Because I call it like I see it. Real knows real, and guess what? These boob tubers ain't real. They're soft as cotton. They're lame. They're fakes, phonies, fakes, frauds, and part-time broads, painted lames, steroid freaks, behind the scenes getting high and then getting on here and telling you how righteous they are for overcoming it, and everybody applauds them and believes it. It's all bullshit. It's all Hollywood fantasy. It's the mask that these people put on to present themselves to you, and you buy it hook, line, and sinker. But somebody like myself who comes out as a straight antagonist, an arrogant, sarcastic personality on here that has taken on the role of the villain to give you the unpleasant, truthful side of life. That's just what I do. It's a difficult job. It's a hard task. The burden that I have placed upon my shoulders, but somebody has to do it. Why not me? I mean, shit, do I want to be one of the status quos talking about top ramens and dropping the soap and people sticking their dick in your butt and slamming your beans and smashing your beans and busting your cheeks and all that other shit? Because personally, I never seen that kind of stuff in prison. Not the kind of prisons I've been to. Straight political, discipline, and organized is a GP, active GP mainline. And it's like that for a reason, and I guarantee you that the rest of the country wishes that they had it the same way. If you in there from a race that's way outnumbered, and you got anything, any kind of anything, you're getting ripped off. It's not that I'm saying that California's any better, but what I'm saying is that California sets the pace for a lot of these things when it comes to like politics, structure, discipline, respect, and all these things. And that comes from the active GP mainline yard, not the S&Y yard. But we're in the middle of an ideological war. It's not so much active versus S&Y, not in my eyes. Regardless if I stay GP, active mainline from the early 90s in the CDC all the way through the feds, finishing the feds like that, and then stepping off and going a different path. Because once I get out, I'm not obligated to nobody unless I put myself in that position. Have I? Well, who knows? It really depends on how you look at it. But the one thing that I have never done on this channel is I have never put any bogus smut or false accusations on anybody. I've been fair and I've been balanced the whole time. When I assessed seat sniffing, stalking studios situation at the Walmart, I didn't call him a chomo. I didn't accuse him of pedophilia or anything like that. I called it like it was. It's a stalking and a soliciting a lewd act. It could have been anything. He could have been sniffing a pair of panties, sticking his tongue out at a broad, or he could have been rubbing his dick or something. It's 100 things he could have been doing. Doesn't necessarily have to do anything with kids, but the stalking part mixed with that charge makes it look a little weird, and you probably should explain it, but he chooses not to. That's on him, though. But I called it for what it was, according to the black and white, according to the police report, the newspaper article, everything. How about Wes Watson? I only call it like I see it when it comes to him. He's phonier than a $3 bill. There's a lot that I know about him that you probably don't know. There's a lot I know about a lot of these boob tubers that you probably have no idea about. And the one thing that I can't stand is when somebody makes a mockery of this prison thing, or somebody steals valor and turns it into some Hollywood bullshit. It's offensive. It should be offensive to anybody. Just like somebody putting on a bunch of medals, putting a Medal of Honor and a Purple Heart on them, telling you they were in Afghanistan, they were Ranger and all that shit. People get mad about that. Why wouldn't we get mad about the experience we went through? It's just as much real for us as it is for anyone else. Just because we chose to be an outlaw, just because we chose to be the 1% of society that don't give a fuck about rules and law, because we see through the bullshit of it, it's all a fucking hypocritical sham. These laws, this government, which is more criminal than any street gang I've ever come across. The biggest, most disciplined, and most well-organized and funded cartel in the world is the United States government. And that's real deal Holyfield right there. I call it all out for what it is, and that's what it is. I got Wes Watson's paperwork. I didn't call him a rat, though. I'm not saying he's a rat. I'm just saying he ain't being honest about his time. He ain't being honest about how much time he's done and where he's done it at. He's never been in no shoot program. He's never been on no level 4. I don't throw bogus smut or shade on any of these people. And I basically just tell you who I am from where I'm coming from. What I'm about. I ain't perfect. I wasn't Billy Badass running every single yard, knocking everybody out in my path. None of that shit. I was just a regular, standard, run-of-the-mill Sureño that was in there, doing his part, keeping his nose clean, staying out of trouble, staying out the way if I needed, then being in the mix when I needed to be. It's just the way I did my time, and it's the way I was schooled, and I listened. But these people don't listen no more. So all this shit that's going on out there, motherfuckers smutting up my name to the point to where it starts to bleed out and seep into my personal life on several different levels. I'm not going to get into the whole details of it because that's still in the works right now, dealing with it. But I can tell you this right here. This is my paperwork right here. It's all my paperwork, as you can see it. United States of America versus Jason James Rutherford. In black and white. I carry this around with me everywhere I go. If anybody wants to know what's up, there it is right there. There it is. That's legal. You could tell that it's legit just by looking at the stamps, the seals, and everything, the signatures, fresh ink. Not a copy. But I got to ask, where are all these people's paperwork that are talking this shit? Should do a complete paperwork check on all these other people that are coming at me with this bullshit. You throw these kind of accusations out, you call me these kind of names, you slander somebody's name in this fashion, like these people have done to me. That's a dangerous, dangerous game that you're playing. You better be correct. You better have paperwork. You better have a government website to back that shit up. Because it ain't no game, man. You can get people's families hurt, all that shit. You can get yourself hurt. You just so happen that you come at the wrong motherfucker with that kind of shit, that could be your ass real fast. So a lot of people have a lot of these different opinions about me since I come out. Being a white sureño that I am, whether I'm actively involved in the politics out here as I was in there is irrelevant. It's really none of nobody's business. But you automatically, a lot of you assume, you run with your optical illusion bullshit. You look at me and you think that I'm some kind of phony, I'm a faker, and all that stuff like that, but yet you don't really know that for sure. You just pass judgment through the optics. But you don't know who I'm in communication with. You don't know who benefits from this channel, if you know what I'm saying. You have no idea. You don't know any of these details. But you automatically assume. Prison Break Raw has always been about breaking you free from your self-made prison. To be so annoying and to get under your skin to the point to where you think about it. Why is this fool triggering my emotions? And as far as triggering your emotions are concerned, a lot of people think that I get emotional or I get upset about this shit. I'll tell you what gets me upset about all this. When people constantly bring this YouTube shit to my attention. Off camera, on camera, whatnot, in the lives, in other social media platforms where I'm constantly hearing about this shit. It's just negativity, bitching, complaining, whining, belly aching, moaning and groaning about this, that, and the third. It gets draining. People do a lot of crazy shit. Recently, Tony A. the Wizard. He got his Instagram channel shut down because people kept reporting this shit. You already know who that is. That's the seat sniffer, sassy savvies, and the Wessie sissies, and all the rest of the weirdos that have joined forces in a legion of lame type fashion to attack people, to become straight net bangers all the way across the board. They'll sit there and call you out for a fair one, but do they really deserve a fair one? Any of them? A fair one, according to them, that you got to go to them. You got to drive wherever you're at. You got to drop everything you're doing and go to them. They can't, go to you. They can't show up at your door, but you have to go to them. You see how it is? You call somebody out, man, you should be the one driving over to them. Showing up on their property, handling your business in that fashion. But they don't. I've told them all several times, knock at the door. They refuse. Their excuse is they say, I'm going to call the cops. Well, you a gangster, right? You a G, you a thug, you all that, you a goon? That should be irrelevant. You get an ass whooping or I get an ass whooping, you get the cuff slapped on you, what, a couple days in the county jail, fine maybe? Ain't nobody calling the cops though, but that's your excuse. That's how you want to run with it, run with it. But the reverse psychology of all this shit is the craziest part. The turning around and calling everybody else snitches and chomos and all that shit. That's what these PCs do. They know they're trash. So they try to use the neuro-linguistic programming and the reverse psychology to throw it back at you. It's like they stick a mirror up in front of themselves. And they reflect what you're saying back at you. It's what the left likes to do a lot in this whole social justice war that they're waging. The thing that irks me about everything and the reason why I became the way I am on this channel is because I just can't stand the fucking hypocrisy. I can't stand the double talk and all that stuff like that. I've been consistent with everything I've said and done, and I've never put a bogus jacket on nobody. But yet I've been the brunt of bogus jackets and lies and slander since day one. Way back when they were accusing me of withdrawing from heroin, being on dope and all that stuff like that, when I was thick in my federal probation, being tested like sometimes twice a week. Twice a week by these people, randomly, just out of the blue. Whatever it is that I do in my private time and my private life, if I was doing that, it's really none of nobody's business, to be honest with you, because I'm not coming on here pretending to be some kind of life coach and doing something totally different behind the scenes. I am what I am. I'm an imperfect human being. I make mistakes. I have feelings. I have thoughts. I have opinions, just like everybody else. If I fall, I fall. If I pick myself up in time, well, then I got a lesson to learn. If I don't, well, then there's another lesson to learn. But I keep moving. I keep striving. I keep pushing despite the fact that I'm against all odds every single day of the week. I'm always the underdog. I'm always underestimated. I'm always overlooked. But I keep on pushing. Now, I may not be a total saint in this day and age, I'll admit. And to what degree I mean by that really is irrelevant. It's a need-to-know situation like that. But what I can say is this. No matter what, I'm always going to stand up for what's right. I'm always going to back up my play. I'm never going to misrepresent myself or anybody else. I'm always going to call it like I see it. I'm always going to stick to the facts. Now, I may not be entirely clear on some of the facts, or I may have some details wrong, but I will always correct myself. How many of these other people that have thrown all this shade and smut on me, how many of them have corrected themselves? They haven't. They're still running with all these bullshit accusations. So when that stuff filters into your personal life, like I told you that it does, and then nobody wants to hear about it, people want me just, pay it no mind like it's not even happening, but it's happening in every aspect of my life, well, that just turns me off from ever wanting to come on here again. Why should I, If all you want to hear is about top ramens and booty bandits and all that shit like that and cheek busting, my suggestion would be that if you want to find out so badly, if you're so curious about it, grow some balls, bust a lick, and go do some time yourself in one of these other states. Or go S&Y in California, you'll see it real fast. All them people like Stalker Studios and Dozer and all the rest of his little clowns running around in there taking people's butts, stealing their shit, punking them out of the phone, everything else. That's what's the S&Y yard. That's what many of us are trying to point out. Now, I'm not saying on the GP active side it's perfect. It's not. It's prison. But there's one thing that we learn in there. We learn integrity, respect, morals, guiding principles, having your people's back, keeping your mouth shut, minding your own business. A lot of very valuable skill sets that you could take to the streets and apply them in the streets. And people look at you like you're cut from a different cloth, like, damn, man, blows their mind. But it sets a good example. As opposed to all these other people in the S&Y yard constantly have their eyes on you, watching everything that you're doing, looking to snitch on you, or looking to rob you or to touch you inappropriately, and all this other stuff that they do. You got all these so-called actives out there saying that we're not supposed to acknowledge that or anything like that. But guess what? You're losing the war, pal. And you're losing it real fast. And if you give a shit at all about what's left of integrity and morals and guiding principles and everything like that, well, then you'll take a stand too and understand what's going on. We're in the 21st century. We're in the 2020s now. Things have changed. As far as speaking on camera on the inside, yeah, that's a no-no. But we ain't in prison no more, so we on the camera. I see a lot of people in the rap music business. It's funny how if you say that we can't be on a YouTube channel, but you could be on that. It's all the same shit. You choose to push your message how you choose to push it. I choose to push it how I choose to push it. It just so happened that I'm 47 years old and I ain't going to be rapping. But I got this platform right here. And I'm going to keep talking shit. I'm going to keep being sarcastic. I'm going to keep being arrogant. And they're going to keep coming at me. But there's one thing that you can't do is you can't misrepresent me. Because I got the black and white to prove it right here. And I got people around me right now to prove it as well. Just because I don't put them on blast and put them on here, that's their choice. You don't know who I communicate with. You don't know who I know. You don't know who benefits from this channel. And you damn sure don't know nothing about me if you're going to believe any of this bullshit and slander. So where do I go from here with all of this? I don't know. I'm pretty burnt out on a lot of this shit, though, because it seems like I'm just wasting my time in a lot of ways. People get mad because I don't want to talk about prison and the inside of prison, these stories. I've really never wanted to be about that because let me tell you something. If you've ever been in a violent and intense, rocking and rolling, high security penitentiary of any sort, whether it's state or the feds, you've seen extreme violence in action right in front of you, you don't want to talk about that shit. You lived it. You're always going to tell the next man, you want to find out so bad, you go there. When we were young in the reception center, asking the veteranos, the OGs and shit, what was it like? What was it like in San Quentin? What was it like in Folsom in the 60s and stuff like that? What is it like to be in those places anyways? It's always the same thing. You so curious, you want to know so bad, go there yourself. When you've seen that, you experienced that shit, you don't want to talk about it. You don't talk about it so openly and loosely like it's no big deal. That's how you know somebody's lying to you. You could see it in their eyes, what they've experienced in these places. So the main moral of this whole video right here is just to basically say that, no, I'm not a mess. No, I'm not all fucked up and shot out and jacked up and ruined. Yeah, I'm going through my struggles. I'm going through my ups and downs. I'm dealing with a lot of personal things that are going on. Where I go from here, who knows? Like I said, I may be gone for another week, 2 weeks. Shit, I may be dead tomorrow. You never know. But it's like I said, the one thing that I can say, that I've always been straight up with all of yous, from the rip. And that's all that I could give you. But all this other shit that's going on with people, with what they're doing, with personal attacks on everybody, and it's not just me, other people. You have to ask yourself, what side are you on? Is that the side you want to be on? Bunch of people with no morals or no moral or spiritual compass whatsoever. A lot of stuff. But those same accusations get thrown around at the real ones, because that's what it is right now. It's an ideological war. Whether you want to be on a side or not, you really do have to choose a side and take up the fight one way or the other. Because this shit is like getting to the point to where these people will no longer be allowed to hide behind a computer screen any longer and talk their shit. You already know what it is. And you heard it right here. Prison Break Raw, uncut, uncensored, no holds barred, not sugarcoat, not politically correct, all up in your face, slapping you with that dick of reality. And I'm out.